life. Like, get a grip. What I was going to say was that I am just now coming into my own as a person, and I had this epiphany about our relationship because I had this idea that what is the pod about? It's about us, actually.
Okay.
So what I realized
Sorry, I
is
just got tired from singing the days of the week.
when we started dating, I was very like I wanted to impress you, which is a very weak move as a man. You should really demonstrate higher value.
I don't remember you impressing me at all.
I was
like Shania Twain over there.
I was nervous. I was like,
you were like, I played college basketball. I'm like, that don't impress me.
you were like that.
I know.
It's my like love language. Just like
you were
what
like,
else can I do?
You were like, I don't have any money. I was like, that don't impress me.
I was like, you're like this.
You were like, I'm in $100,000 worth of debt. I was like, that don't impress me.
But you know when you're like saying opinions and you're just hoping the other person's like, yep. So I'm like, I like mayonnaise on a sandwich, and you're like, and I'm like, so that part of me continued into 10 years of relationship and 8 years of marriage. Like we'll have conversations sometimes when I'm like, I like the orange Starburst, and you go,
oh,
the
well, that's
pink
insane.
one. Yeah, this is exactly right. So then instead of me going,
when I get Starburst, the orange goes directly in the trash.
Right. And instead of me going, well, I like orange, I go, oh yeah, pink is better. I've thrown out complete like things out of my life because you were like,
good.
What I've realized is
I am the supreme leader.
No. I'm realizing
welcome to the cult of me.
You have an opinion. What you don't realize is that it impacts.
My opinion is our opinion.
Yes, exactly.
Yay!
That's what it was. But what I'm saying is that those days are over, baby. I got my own, because I got my own opinions now.
Yikes. And what's one? 48th Street's the new 38th Street.
So.
Oh, that's it.
That's it. I'm watching the. I want to bring up this WWE documentary.
I know you're dying to.
So.
Didn't you already watch this?
No.
Are you sure?
John Anderson told me to watch it. I never did. And it's been a while since I've watched It's been a while since I can't. Also, I've only been listening to 2000s for 6 months.
I know.
I'm like back in on Stained.
Can I tell you something? Yeah. I haven't listened to music except for when I drove to get my mammogram. Yeah. And I just listened to like radio, which I hadn't done in a long time.
So weird.
And it's like, the morning show. And I was like, and then I was telling Jane, I had another appointment, I guess I was in the car, and my phone doesn't hook up to your CarPlay. Mm-hmm. But even if it did, I don't have Spotify, so I don't know.
Wrong hole, probably.
Wrong hole?
Yeah, wrong hole. Yep.
Anywho, I forgot, and I obviously had to tell Jane, but I forgot that when you drive at like 5 o'clock, they're like, it's the 5 o'clock whistle. And they're like, everyone's done with work now.
Yeah,
and they're like, blow the whistle, woo, woo. And you're like, and it's like literally like this radio station that you've been listening to top 40 all of a sudden turns into this like weird retro, like, oh, we're all punching out. And I'm like, no, even if you worked at a job that got out at 5, this like, it doesn't make any sense. And then I was listening the other day to, what's his name on Z100? The guy who's been there forever. Elvis Duran in the Z Morning Zoo.
He's just still there.
He's just there. And he's
it's like Scott Van Pelt doing SportsCenter. It's like, he's just still up there doing it. Like, are the cameras on? We don't know. He's just out here doing it.
He was like he was just like asking everyone on the broadcast, like, what they're grateful for. Like, why are they smiling today?
Was this Thanksgiving?
Yeah. And I was like, what is this? And then he was like talking about how he's worked with Scary Jones, the Nana guy, for like 30 years.
Scary Jones.
And Jane and I are obsessed with Scary Jones, the Nana guy, because it's like he would sing the birthday song, but it was like, Happy Nana. And I was like, why do I know about Scary Jones? And like, Elvis told this story that had absolutely no point about how he was like talking to the bartender at the restaurant where he like hosted some party over the weekend. And he was like, yeah, like, he's like, for example, like Scary is like, basically family. Like we've worked together for 30 years. And the bartender's like, yeah, I know Scary. And I was like, they all know Scary Jones, like the Nana guy.
Well, all those, morning zoo type radio, they also do this thing still where they say like a little, it's not even a joke. It's like the tiny little fetus of an idea.
Yeah.
They're like, I ordered bacon, but I got turkey bacon. I guess I'm going vegan. Well, anyway, here's Hoobastank. Like,
Well,
it's like nothing.
But the morning show guys who are like talking to each other, I have to say, like, at least it's a conversation. Like, they're like, they're like, one guy was like, oh.
Right, but in between songs, they do the little
No,
riff.
no. But then you hear the guy who's on by himself, and it's like a new guy, a young guy, because no one wants that slot. And he's the one doing bits by himself, and then there's absolutely no reaction.
Yep,
He's like,
yep.
anyway, here's Hoobastank. And you're like, what? Like, it's like, there was one, I'm like, God, it's like how you felt doing Zoom comedy, like during the pandemic.
You did one of those?
I did one. It was horrible.
I only did one, yeah.
I did one, and I was like, there's absolutely no reason to do this. No one wants this.
No.
And then I think one thing they did at my job at the time was trivia.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually thought that was, like, that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
But, like.
Wait, but I want to stay with Z100 because there's more to say about that whole Scary Jones situation.
It's like Danielle, Gandhi, Froggy. I'm like, and then it was like, it used to be Greg T, the frat guy, who's probably 40. But I don't think Greg works there anymore because they would have had him on.
So, like, Z100 growing up was really big for me in, like, 6th grade. And then when I moved to Jersey, I did kind of transition to being a thug, and I listened a lot more Hot 97.
Right.
But this WWE documentary, I don't want to talk about the WWE. No, not sorry. That was all good, great stuff. Because it relates to my question about this whole era is that.
What was the era?
I'm talking 96. Well, it goes all the way through, but the Attitude Era is what I'm talking about, where it's like 96 to like 99.
Okay.
Where it really got mainstream because what happened was WCW came in and stole a bunch of wrestlers because they're like, we're gonna actually pay these guys like a lot of money. So then there's this whole beef going on.
WCW.
It was like the competition.
Yeah. Vaguely.
And
I'm just like reminding myself.
We're gonna go on Monday night.
Yeah.
So Vince McMahon, one of the guys was going over there for more money, but like he had to like write in the storyline to get like the championship belts back.
Right.
So a couple of times the person with the belt, even though it's scripted, was like not fucking giving the belt back. So one time was this lady in the 80s and they were like hit her with a chair and literally like hold her down and pin her and like her shoulders were up and they were 1, 2, 3. And she's sitting there mad to this day. She's like, I wasn't down. Didn't pin me. And I'm like, it's fucking written. Like which is really crazy. So they do it to Owen Hart, and he somehow gets screwed, and it's in Canada, and he's Canadian, and like they show footage of his wife was like in the hallway being like, they're gonna come for you, they're gonna judge you because you did this, like all this crazy shit. So Vince McMahon goes into the locker room, and it might be Josh Hart, but it's on the Knicks, but
it's Josh Hart from the Knicks.
Owen Hart punches Vince McMahon like for real. He's like, I uppercutted him. He had a big black guy. He got a concussion. And he's like, I knocked him out. Like, I like rung his bell. So he leaves. And then, like, Vince McMahon has this aha moment where he's like, I'm now a character like Evil Boss. So that's when, like, Vince McMahon and then Stone Cold was the foil for him.
Right.
And that's when it got, like, WWE went, like, back on top of WCW.
Because it's just a soap opera.
Right. But they were still doing, like, little kid-type gags. Like, I'm, like, Billy the Snake. And he'd be like, oh, I'm a snake charmer. Now it was like reality, so that's when all the like, suck it. Do you remember that era?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, as an adult watching this, I'm going. I remember so vividly, and I know this is a really long preamble, but I remember like being in the hallway, and every kid was just like, suck it. And like now, as a 39-year-old, like that's so insane, and that was insane. Period. Not just because we were that age then, right? Like that was a uniquely weird era, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I obviously was not into wrestling, and even so, like wrestling for me appeals conceptually, but like I can't watch it.
I agree with you. I like the concept of Stone Cold, but I don't want to watch it.
Like I'm like, oh,
and I didn't watch it then either.
Like a storyline that like it's like. It's the same thing as like those early days of like reality TV. Like it's like, okay, it's like semi-scripted, but like I feel like the argument people always make with wrestling, it's like it's yes, it's scripted, but like they're actually doing the things. Like they're actually.
Sean Denis. That's what I wanted to tell you about. That word.
Oh.
Or Chamblay or something.
What?
So, one more story, and I want to get your
The
reaction
name of
to
this
too.
episode, by the way, is CTE because you've been diagnosed.
100% have
You
CTE.
just poked me in the shoulder and like
Chamblay.
said something, and it wasn't anything. But you interrupted your own.
Right. I know. I'm sorry, but it's the idea of maintaining the fourth wall. It's a carny term.
Okay, we don't say carny.
We don't say carny. Carnival. Carny. Yo soy carne. Meat. I say all of it. Oh, are the carnival workers going to come for me? Like, get out of here. We say
Probably.
carne. We say carne.
It's like it's a derogatory term.
Any carny listening to this episode can sound off in the comments. It's not derogatory at all. It means
It is
it
derogatory.
means of the carnival.
No, it doesn't. It's
Okay.
derogatory. But go ahead.
Agree to this. To who? To the person going, step right up now. Play blah, 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 blah. Remember those guys? So, the 2 to play, 3 to bomb, 15 to throw. Remember those guys? So these guys are leaving. They're going to WCW. Like, it's all at the Garden. So Shawn Michaels or Brett Michaels or somebody is out there, and he's like,
Shawn and Brett Michaels.
he's like, I want to do something like special for these guys because it was
and
like
Michael Brett.
Michael Brett's there, George Brett, he shit his pants. Everybody's there.
Matthew Stevens.
Matthew Stevens, Steven Stevens,
Brad Stevens.
Ali. Brad Stevens is there. He's like, these guys can play for the Celtics. I'm 4. So
What's the other guy like? What's the
Stephen A. Smith is there.
Yeah, but what's the other the Australian who I love? Or he's from New Zealand, I guess.
Stephen Adams.
Steven Adams.
The Adams family.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
John Quincy Adams. So
Quincy Adams did have a beard.
So McMahon is like, yeah, you can do something special. He thought he's gonna like, strangle him or do something like in the act, but instead they're enemies and they like hold hands and they do like a curtain call, and they got backstage and all the wrestlers are like, what the flip? Like, you like showed that it was scripted and fake. It was the first time it had been shown like they broke the wall, and it was like the old school wrestlers were like
Mad.
This is like unforgivable sin, and the young guys were like, everybody knows it's written. And by doing that, it allowed this whole era of like behind the scenes in the camera and like all this like, they're in the office with Vince McMahon and all this shit. But
and Linda McMahon is now in charge of all of our country's education.
well, every classroom is going to have A1. A1
like,
steak sauce.
It's like, anyway. Yeah, I don't.
It'd be funny if you just said, I don't care.
I don't like. This is what I'm saying with the wrestling. It's like, I do remember kids like getting worked up and being like, it is real, it's not real, it is real, whatever. And that's like probably around that same era. But it's like, it's really like just how you define real.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
they're really like beating the crap out of each other in like a scripted way.
they're really getting hurt. I mean, like, even when someone's like about an actor, like, oh, well, he doesn't do his own stunts. I'm like, but someone's doing it. Like, someone did it. Like, unless it's like CGI. But like, someone did jump off that roof, probably.
It
just wasn't the guy, getting the big money.
Some of the worst stunt doubling ever is in Point Break.
Yeah.
When they're parachuting, it just cuts to a guy, and it's like a black dude with a blonde wig, and it's supposed to be, Patrick Swayze. But I guess my point is that I thought at the time, being a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, and it's not just the wrestling, it was Eminem, Limp Bizkit. There's a lot of Limp Bizkit content on our pod, by the way.
Too much, some would say.
WWE, all this shit, it was like, I'm smart enough to know this is like all entertainment, but I feel like it did like seep into the brain that like it was like in the zeitgeist of our minds, like that like aggressive like.
I guess I just felt like it was so like, to me it felt like they, and not incorrectly, they were going after kids, right? And so then it had this era of being really like stupid. Like, the plot lines were really stupid. And I think that's also when it kind of got this, I mean, there's also like the whole violence component of it, but it like became very like low class. Like, it became very like,
oh yeah, and a lot of sex and like tits and like,
like, yeah. But I'm like, but they got more and more into that because it was like, well, how can we, if you get all these teenage boys interested in like 5th and 6th grade, they're going to keep watching it well into their 20s and 30s. So like, it wasn't a bad marketing play, but I'm like, for me being in 5th or 6th grade, I mean, nothing could be less interesting. And I do remember the era of like Suck It and like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like I remember it,
Right.
But like, also my brother wasn't into it, so like it wasn't like in our house really.
It wasn't in our house either. It was just in our hallways of middle school.
Yeah, I remember that. But also like kids got in trouble for it. Like you weren't just like, you couldn't just like do that. Yeah. I mean, you were doing it like when people weren't looking, but like if you got caught, you were like definitely getting in trouble.
I feel like it was just, there was a 6-month period where it was just
constant.
Our middle school was, you had to have some gel in your hair. You needed a chain, some beepers, swish, swish, swish pants, and just people going, suck it. I mean, what a time. What a time to be alive.
It's weird when kids are like, now I want to put gel in my hair.
Uh-huh.
It's weird.
I almost gelled up little Henry over there.
No.
A little gel, little chain.
No.
Yeah, but
he's so smile.
I guess what I'm saying is that all that stuff, parents were like these are young impressionable minds. We were impressionable.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I think, and I don't know if the documentary gets into this because I'll never watch it and I don't really care. But
maybe maybe this podcast is mine now and you're co-host again.
What?
Keep going.
But I do think it's like, well, it's like the same. It's like the marketing thing. It's like, whatever, 30 years prior to that, they're like putting all the cigarettes and things, and it's like, well, who's it for? It's not for adults, or like the sugary. Like I remember reading this article about how like the boxes of sugary cereal, like when that became like really popular, like with the cartoon and whatever, and actually the way they designed the boxes, so like they were considering the fact that the kid would be in the shopping cart or like holding, probably their mom's hand walking down the aisle. So they started making the characters like facing down. So like the kid would look up and see the character. And I'm like, that's like diabolical. But I'm like, but it's true, right? Like then I mean, we know now that like sugary cereal isn't good for you. But I'm like, it's like that nostalgia element. Like you still want it 25 years later. You don't like, it's really weird.
Yeah, there was something where they were like trying to get coffee into China or something, and they were like, well, you have to start young, so they just started selling like coffee flavored candy. So when those people grew up.
Right. Okay, so speaking of the 90s, do you want your 90s movie quiz?
Yeah, I do. And I want you to add any outrageous crap you remember from the 98 to 2001 era.
I mean, I remember being really, really taken with anything that they were trying to sell me on TV. Like, from infomercials to...
I loved infomercials.
Or just TV ads for a toy. We were like, Samantha and I wanted Squand so bad. Squand was sand that you put underwater that didn't get wet. We were like, we need Squand! Like, and because Samantha is the baby, like, she obviously got Squand, and we were like, now we have Squand. Like, there was so many things that, like, I mean, it's so funny, like, we didn't have the internet, but, like, every single thing that got pushed to us on, like, Nickelodeon or Disney, we were like, order it now. Like, yes. I'm like, would my mom call the number? Like, how did she even find it?
So I watched the Red Devil Grill. Do you remember that infomercial?
Yeah.
I watched it hundreds of times. I loved it. You could you could bake a cake.
Yes.
In the woods. Now
you could bake a cake in the woods, which is what we all want to do.
I didn't connect
at 9.
That at that time in my life, I was in the woods a lot for a month every summer. But I never like bought it and was like, I'm bringing this camping. But I just wanted it. And the other thing that I used to watch, which may be an on-stage bit before you get to your quiz, is ESPN2 during the day in the summer would just play workout shows.
Yes.
Because I'm now getting served them on Instagram. So there'd be ones where like Kiana, like lifting. So they would just like do a chest workout and they'd be like, all right, she's going to go up on the bench. Here she goes. 1, 2, 3. That was a show.
Well, we watched all of John Baisdow's infomercials. We loved.
Did you watch Gilad?
We watched a little Gilad, but we really preferred, what's his name on the Gazelle?
Tony Little.
Tony
Giselle
Little.
was amazing, but Gilad was
With
on
the
infomercial.
ponytail.
That was a show, and he was on a mat, and he's just doing toe taps. He's like, tap 2 times, tap 3 times, and
we
much,
didn't have Gilad.
and much, and much. It was just aerobics, and I would just watch it. I would just sit
You weren't
there.
doing it.
No. And he'd be like, tap here, tap there, twice this way. Okay, and much. Like, get a life. I'm sitting there like.
Well, and also, obviously, we watch all of the Strongest Man competitions. And we
Bill
literally.
Kazmaier.
I mean, we love Bill Kazmaier, and we literally watched. I remember there was a day, it must have been like the day after Thanksgiving or something. And I was probably in middle school. John was maybe, if I was like 6th grade, John's in 8th grade. Samantha's, you know, I don't know, 2nd or 3rd. Like, she's little. And we watched it. And then we were like doing our own, like, we watched it nonstop from the moment we woke up and had our like chocolate milk until like the end of the day. My dad was like, how are you not? It's just the same thing. We're like, they're doing the finger fingers. We're like, get out of the way. Like, we were like so locked in.
Not the same thing, Rick.
I mean, a lot of times it was the same thing.
The analysis by, and again, I did this. I became, what the hell's the guy's name again? Bill Kazmaier.
Bill Kazmaier.
I would be Bill Kazmaier during our college test days. Like, hi, I'm Bill Kazmaier, and Kyle Kuntz is stepping up to the bench and not able to get 4 reps. And my coach would be like, Savage, shut up. I told you to shut But all the analysis would be like, he's got to train triceps and add
But, you know,
more
we liked
protein in his diet.
Before that, even, we liked American Gladiators.
Yeah.
We really liked Gladiators, and obviously we were just constantly trying to beat the shit out of each other, so like that was really fun. And then we also liked, on Nickelodeon, they had Global Guts.
Yeah, it was incredible.
And we had
the Crag? Was
the
that
Crag.
Global Guts?
Global Guts is the Crag. And then I remember like starting comedy, and someone who was like doing an open mic with me was like, I have a piece of the Crag. Like, I was on the show.
Oh my
and I was like,
God.
What? I was like, oh my God. And he was like, it's literally like in my New York City apartment. Like, I brought it.
Yeah, that is.
I was like, that's sick, actually.
Never sell it.
No, it's amazing. And then Legends of the Hidden Temple, we loved.
Yeah. Those all like blur together for me.
I just like don't like, and we liked Carmen Sandiego a lot.
And also, this is just like Memba, but
well, you asked me to come up with some.
I know,
Membas.
and these were great. I remember thinking in middle school that Thursday night NBC Must TV, I was like, oh.
First of all, it's called Must See TV.
That's what I said.
No.
Must see. It's me or the dog. Are you making fun of my speech impediment?
No, you forgot an entire word.
Oh, sorry. All right, I'm ready
Okay.
for my quiz.
Okay, ready for your Member Berries quiz?
Yeah.
Okay, so the way I set this up.
I'm going to Google the answers.
No, don't Google the answers. What are you doing?
I have to tell. I got to text from Sean.
Okay. Okay, so I found quotes from different 90s movies.
Okay.
And you have to... At first I was going to be like, name the character, but it's virtually impossible. I didn't remember half of these guys' names. So I will just read the quote.
What genre?
90s kids movies.
Oh, kids. I didn't hear kids. Go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, 90s kids movies.
Go ahead.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
And wait. Sometimes I'm doing 2 different parts, okay? So you have to wait till I finish
Okay.
the whole quote.
Okay.
You think losing is funny? Well, not at first, but once you get the hang of it.
It's a kids movie. Rookie of the Year?
No.
Sandlot.
No.
What?
Mighty Ducks.
Oh, I wasn't a big duck guy.
Oh,
Not a
yeah,
hockey
yeah.
dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Off to a strong start.
0 for 1.
No. I don't want my dog doing beer commercials.
Beethoven.
No.
What?
Air Bud.
Oh, I've never seen it.
What? Wait, even when I was trying to find that quote, I was like revisiting the plot of Air Bud, and I was like, this is insane. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna. Okay, ready?
Yep.
There's one thing every little kid knows. Daddies mean fun, mommies mean business.
That one's Beethoven.
No, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Oh, I used to love Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Okay. Here's an easier one.
I'm 0 for 3?
You're for all. I worked hard to steal that money, and you went and gave it to some zit-faced little kid?
Oh, that's blank check.
Yeah.
Boom.
1.
Clip it.
You are a fart factory, slug slime, sack of rat guts and cat vomit, cheesy, scab-picked, pimple-squeezing finger bandage, a week-old maggot burger with everything on it and flies on the side.
Jack.
No.
What?
Hook.
Oh, I knew it was Robin Williams. I thought it was Jack, the most depressing movie ever made. Shouldn't be for kids.
Oh, Jack is so depressing. Even thinking about the plot of Jack, I get really, really sad. Okay, ready? He's got a family out there. I heard him. Don't you get it? He's homesick. That's why he acts so weird.
Willie.
Free Willy.
Free Willy.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
This one's easy.
Yeah.
I am Kazam.
Kazam. Blue chips.
Okay. Human tails? Humans don't have tails. They have big, big bottoms that they wear with bad shorts. They walk around going, "Hi, Helen."
It's got to be. Is it animated?
Yeah.
A Bug's Life.
No.
What?
Close.
Ants.
Fern Gully.
Fern Gully.
We loved Fern Gully.
Yeah.
And also,
Same.
Fern Gully is so scary when, like, the big smoke monster comes.
So scary.
Terrifying. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
They got little kids and girls on the team.
Mighty Ducks 2?
No, the big green.
How many questions are there?
Like 11.
This is like a
I worked really hard on it.
This is like a state exam. You did work hard on it.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
The key to being a big league pitcher is the 3 R's: readiness, recuperation,
I know
and
this
conditioning.
one. I know who the actor is, too. It's the guy from Home Alone. It's like,
Yeah.
He's fantastic, and that's Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, of course.
Boom!
Okay. I think this is the last one.
Yeah.
I cannot for the life of me understand why small children take so long to grow up. I think they do it deliberately just to annoy me.
Matilda.
Yeah. Good.
Wow.
That was good, Noah.
Whoa, that was some CTE, like, recall. Like, that's
And
deep in the brain fold.
For a bonus point, do you know who said it?
The Tarantula.
Not the Trunchula. The
Trunch
Bowl.
Trunch Bowl. Go stand in the Tarantula.
I had a teacher who I can't name because, God forbid, she ever listens to this, but my dad called her the Trunch Bowl, and it was not a flattering comparison.
I was a big roll doll guy. In other news, I am going to be starting to do some mukbang videos, eating challenges. And I've changed my Instagram handle to
what?
Noah Savage Comic. I didn't realize you could change your name so easily. You know how many years I've been like, people are like, I want to follow you. And I'm like, yo, it's a Sav. And they're like, nah, I'm not going to. So now I got SOB going for me, BOS, DO, you know what I'm saying?
SOB going for me?
Yeah, search engine optimization, SEO.
That's not how that works.
SEO Speedwagon. Let's go.
Wait, did you like my quiz, though?
I loved your quiz, and I just had a wonderful time doing it. 4 for 11.
So many movies from that era are like, we're just a ragtag group of kids who aren't even good at the sport.
Here we are.
And then they like win the championship, or like they go to the Olympics, and you're like, what?
Wait, let's improv a. I'm gonna say we're gonna improv a log line and description of a video, right?
Okay.
I mean, we're just a soccer team without any shoes and just one dog.
Who's stuck in Antarctica.
Without a dad.
Okay, I'll start one. Ready?
It's like penguin boat.
Yeah. No, it's like penguin shin guards.
Yeah.
Now on VHS. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
It was the family she always wanted.
Only there wasn't any hang gliders.
For the cat.
And the cat like,
Just a cat, like
it's called a flying puss.
flying puss?
Flying puss. Or no, puss in kites or something.
It's called like a wing and a whisker or something.
Yeah.
You're like, Jesus. All right, do one more.
All right. all they had was each other.
And tennis racket.
And a barge to Siberia. Just like on a barge. I don't know.
The big
That
green.
was good.
Like I remember watching that movie and I forgot about how like, oh, there was a quote that I didn't include in my quiz where the opposing coach is like, because you know how you're like all these movies like also have to include divorce.
Mm-hmm.
The opposing coach is like, you know, we have a tradition of doing a little bit of wagering on the games.
Gambling on the second grade
to
game.
the female
kids.
coach. No, to the female coach, who's like not really a coach. Like she got thrown into it for some reason.
No.
And he's like, but I wouldn't want to take your money. So he's like, he goes, you know, I'm divorced, so I would take a kiss. And she's like, and she goes, okay, but if we win, you have to kiss this goat who's like our mascot. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, this is
like
some
a
90s.
Mad Libs.
Yeah, it's like, I'm like, okay, he's like sexually harassing her. And then she's like, so confident in her ragtag team of losers that she's like, oh, I'm not going to have to get like assaulted by this man who's also like, and I'm divorced. It's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, but there's a lot of movies. Like, I didn't include anything from like Little Giants, which is also like, what's his name? Who's the dad from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Rick Moranis.
Yeah. Rick Moranis had an absolute chokehold on these roles.
He had a heater.
I also like he was good at it.
Have you seen his SNL open when he's making fun of Bruce Willis?
No.
So like Bruce Willis did something where he like his bit was something like behind the camera and then playing guitar and like doing this.
Oh yeah.
And it, like so then it like sucked. Like it was like kind of serious. He was like, I can do everything.
Right.
So then Rick Moranis does this thing where he just gets the crowd going and he just runs around the like the studio and he's doing the camera and he's doing this and he's up there and up there. But it was some sort of like, you know, you're not funny, like an FU to Bruce Willis. It was a big controversy. I don't know the whole story. Did
they ever make up?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so more than anything.
I'm gonna look into this.
Well, I have one more Stone Cold story for you, which I really enjoyed. I'm sorry, I'm going back. One more.
Okay. Also, I couldn't remember Rick Moranis' name because I could only in the show his name is like Selinsky or something. And like there's a part where I was reading about how he like blew up the baby and his wife is like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm closing the shutters." He's like, "I don't want someone to call the National Enquirer about my 7-foot baby."
Which one came out first, Blew Up or Shrunk?
Shrunk.
Oh, Shrunk was better. It was so scary with all the ants and the eating of the...
Do you remember that ride at Disney where you had to like sit in the theater and then they put like the mice on your legs? And I was like,
oh, yeah.
I freaked out. My mom was like, it's fake. It's just air on your legs. And then like the parents behind us like yelled at her because she was like ruining the magic. But I'm like, I was in a full panic attack. Like I was like, what is on my legs?
We went to Universal Studios and a lot of the rides where you would watch a screen and then the chairs would be like, like you weren't like in an actual roller coaster. It would be like, we were like,
yeah, but that was like cutting edge technology.
Yeah,
it was just like,
or like my mom was like, I can't go on roller coasters. We're gonna go on this thing. And we're like,
wait, do you know I've never been to Universal Studios?
Skip it.
We
went on the King Kong thing where they like that one's scary. You're dangling and King Kong comes and smacks your shit.
What?
You're like, yo, Kong, leave me alone, homeboy. Pop, give him a pound. So one more Stone Cold story.
I really liked your impression of the simulator rides.
You're like, this is outrageous.
I'm like, how do they know?
He's like,
There was one at Disney where you were like in outer space and it was cool.
Well, you go in Epcot and they're like, these are your ancestors. It's so fucking boring.
I don't know if I've ever been to Epcot.
Been so many times.
What does Epcot stand for something?
Yeah. Educating people over country. It does stand for something stupid. So
Did you ever go on the
What?
the ride at Disney with like Michael Jackson that was like produced by George Lucas? Mm-hmm. You did?
I went on all of them. I went to Disney World like 3 times in 4 years. Divorce. And I
Jane
went
and I are
with
obsessed
Grandma Lois took us.
And it's like Michael Jackson, and it's like, but also like Angelica Houston's in it. Do you know what I'm talking about or no?
And I went to it.
No.
But I want to tell you about Stone Cold. One more that I really liked, because I like in show business when someone like nails it so hard and you have that like aha moment. So he's in this match, okay, and the guy had given a preview that was like Bible verse or whatever. He ad-libbed, Austin 316 said, I just whipped your ass. And then he was like talking. He's like, I got to put a button on this thing. And he goes, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. And afterwards, Vince was like, Bible, like that's going to turn off our Southern fans and like bad feedback. They go to the next arena. Every sign is like, Austin 316. That's the bottom line. Like it was that like catchphrase that then was like, okay, this is it. And then that blew up the whole thing. But as a entertainer, I liked that story. I thought you'd like it. I'm so sorry. I tried to crowbar it in. Anyway, a lot of good content. And anything else you got?
No.
Please, for the love of God, watch the whole episode. Help our algorithm. Anyway, we're off next week, obviously, in Nantucket. That's my lifestyle. That's how I get down. That's how I get diggity. Eating clam chowder and shit on a boat.
We're cutting this.
Why? Why?
Okay.
Why?
I'll tell you why after we cut it.
Oh, you don't want people to know where we go?
No. Dum-dum.
What?
Cut it. Stupid. Wait.
Cut.
You don't tell people when you're going on vacation.
Why?
It's like a security issue.
Oh, all right. We'll cut it. I don't think in terms of people robbing my apartment with the doorman.
Not robbing the apartment, just like in general.
Why? What security issue could that face? Go. Ow, my ass is so sweaty.